It's been a while since I sat down and talked about a chapter or the Boruto manga. I believe it's been over a year. But I finally caught up, and so just how I made a video about catching up with the Boruto anime, I thought it was only appropriate I thought it was only appropriate that I made a video related to catching up to the Boruto manga, and the past 4 chapters especially have been heating up specifically with interactions, more insight into the Kara organization, which may be the second coming to the Akatsuki. And the last chapter I did, we got introduced to the Byakugan survivor, Ao, or Ao, however you pronounce it, who lost his Byakugan, but he ended up as an enemy. He got taken care of and he sacrificed himself to save Boruto. Then introduces a young version of Kawaki, which is important because we know Kawaki and Boruto are going to mix a few years later when they're a little bit older. And we know Konoha's destroyed. Some rumors about the Hokage, Naruto being killed. So it's cool to find out, get some interaction and find out what led to these events. So we get introduced to Kawaki, his curse mark diamond tattoo on his hand, much like Boruto. And we also come to find out his connection with Kara. He's the vessel. I mean, it was kind of obvious. Team 7 that was dispatched to try and investigate. We also come to find out that Jigen is obviously the leader. He's after getting Kawaki back because it's important to his plans because of the curse mark. Now, what we come to find out is Jigen is the one that actually took in Kawaki at first. The young Kawaki got abused by his real parents. He took him in, he gave him the curse mark, and much like Mitsuki, even though it was a similar Mitsuki, how he was created by Orochimaru, even though he wasn't created, he was modified by Jigen by giving him the curse mark diamond tattoo, which is known as Karma. We get a name for that now, finally. They ran some experiments to see if he became the true vessel. A lot of duds end up getting sacrificed. It's messed up. It was more than an experiment to train Kawaki to become the vessel. What? I don't know. An interaction with Boruto and Kawaki, and right away they don't gel together. It's like the Naruto Sasuke proverbial rivalry from in the next generation's format. That's pretty much what it is. Kawaki been abused. Obviously, he's got an emo type personality. Where have you seen that before? Boruto carefree, trying to extend the hand. Kawaki wanted nothing to do with it. However, which is interesting because the curse marks only activate, or the karma only activates when they're interacting with one another. We saw it a few chapters ago when it comes to them training or sparring. Kawaki not knowing anything about ninja, being a ninja because he doesn't know how to infuse chakra. So he's been taken in by Naruto, which seems kind of dumb, but obviously trying to be a father figure and not abuse him, like where the conflict comes in. And you can see bit by bit, Kawaki's starting to warm up a little bit, open up to the likes of Boruto, and especially Himawari when he just broke a vase or vase of flowers because that she made for Hinata, because he's been pissed off about being used all the time. So that was a conflict of interest between Boruto. It's like, you need to make up for that and buy a new vase for Himawari. So there's a conflict. But chapter 32, Kawaki ends up sacrificing, at least taking some damage to save Naruto, and see the character development, seeing through for Kawaki. It started to open up a little bit. Then we get introduced to the Kara organization members. First, well, again, is Kashin Koji, and we also come to find out he has to have a connection with Konoha, and right away my Jiraiya senses are tingling because 2 things are very important. Number 1, he's affiliated with the Konoha because the security measures from the Yamanaka clan, the outsiders that come into Konoha. We saw this with Itachi and Kisame. They're able to get past because Itachi was a former member of the Hidden Leaf Village. So that's exhibit number 1. Exhibit number 2 is the fact that he used a Rasengan against Konohamaru when he was first introduced. Well, when he was about to do something to Boruto, and that's where Io, the Byakugan user that survived the war, ends up sacrificing himself to save Boruto. Steps up, Kashin Koji, or Jiraiya, uses Rasengan, so right away that should give you instant clue as to who that is. I'm not saying for sure, but you have to admit, who else could it be? You also find out that exhibit number 3, he has a toad on him. And who else do we know in the Naruto verse that has a toad? So what's going on there? Plus, we couldn't find out the members of Kara, at least the 2 members we've seen so far, are infused with ninja tech. The bodies are modified to use ninja tech. Kawaki's the same. In fact, he uses his hand. It looks very like Sasuke would in his second state curse mark, where he just I guess like Jugo would. So that's kind of interesting. He took some damage on that hand to save Himawari, so appreciate that. I could do that. We know Jigen's the leader. We're going to get to see what he's about pretty soon. And Delta just got done with a huge 1v1 fight with Naruto, which is kind of cool because this may be the first major 1v1 that Naruto has had in Boruto since this got started. I mean, yes, you can throw in Momoshiki in there, but that was mainly 2v1. What I like most about this fight between Naruto and Delta is the fact we got more insight into what certain members of the Kara organization can do. I guess infused with the ninja tech bodies, the way that Delta was able to manipulate a body, like she's able to manipulate a leg with ninja tech. So there's one point where she actually stabbed Naruto through the stomach, so that was pretty brutal. Just the way it was giving her the advantage during the fight. And even before this happened, where she was able to spit out a drone from her back, or at least just produce a drone that was inside of her back, so she can use surveillance to try and locate Kawaki without it infused with chakra, so it won't be detected. Even so, I did like how they used Ino, even with this, to like detect, oh, you got an enemy coming your way, and she was able to relay this information onto Naruto even before the fight began. So I do love that. I was able to stand up to Naruto. I gotta give her props to that, even though in chapter 33 she gets dealt with a giant Rasengan, and Naruto gets pissed off because Kawaki took some damage to save Himawari. And I love the quote where Naruto pretty much states, "If you go after my children, I'm going to make you regret it. You wish you were dead." I love that quote because it's exactly what Naruto did. I don't think she's dead. If she is, that's a disappointment because Kashin Koji and are the only members left of Kara right now. So obviously Kashin Koji is in Konoha. He's surveilling this. He's giving surveillance so he can pinpoint what he needs to do next. He also knows Uzumaki Boruto, so he's been informed about something. So if that's in fact Jiraiya, he's been given some details. If it is, maybe he has a similar role that Itachi had when he came into Konoha, when he infiltrated as the member of the Akatsuki to make sure nothing bad happened to Konoha or Sasuke. So maybe that's a similar situation here with Kashin Koji, aka Jiraiya. I don't know. Maybe it's a clone, because the clone's introduced in this arc. So I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But either way, I do love how this organization is kind of portrayed a little bit. It does give me vibes of the Akatsuki for many different reasons, which is kind of cool, and it just makes sense how Boruto and Kawaki are tied, and they wanted to work together even though they don't get along all that well. I mean, they started to work together so they can learn more about karma, so Kawaki can find a way to erase the curse mark on his hand and get rid of that curse that caused him so much suffering. Boruto's the same, but in the same process, Kawaki's like, hey, you know you have this curse mark or this karma tattoo on your hand, so you can use this to get stronger and use it to your advantage, which is true, and even Naruto acknowledges that fact. End up as the mentor for these two, obviously the father of Boruto, and now he's giving coach lessons, life lessons to Kawaki to be more sociable towards others. He had some brief interaction with Sarah, who accepted him as a friend too, so that's kind of cool. I wonder how long it's going to take before Kawaki is at Naruto and Sasuke level, because obviously he has some promise, but he doesn't know anything about chakra. But we know, I mean, we could assume, unless they change things along the way, that Kawaki is going to end up being the one to take down Naruto. So he has to be a complete powerhouse by that point. Figures like Naruto and Sasuke are pretty much at godlike level. I don't see that happening soon unless there's a huge time skip. So that's going to be interesting. Another thing to point out is we do get a brief scene of Momoshiki when both Kawaki and Boruto are pretty much sparring. The curse marks kind of nullify one another. A blast from Kawaki that could have done some damage. It did do some damage because you see Boruto just like sticking in his hand, but then after that, I guess he gets nullified, and then you see a shot of Momoshiki. So I don't know what's up with that, but either way, it's kind of cool. The Yatsuki legacy lives on, and I can't really see what happens next. Naruto having a pretty decent fight in the manga these past 3 chapters. Let me know what you guys think about Kara as an organization, as well as the Boruto manga. It's definitely heating up, so I can't wait to see what's next. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you did. Subscribe to for more Boruto. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.